What's up guys, Big Light here, showing you another build for Destiny, and this one that we have today, I'm going to start as always by showing you what it looks like. I'm going to show it in the same one that I've been showing, and we're just going to put it on Ultimate so we're 30 levels down, and I'll give you guys an idea what this can do. I played it in lots of content, played it in arena stuff. You can play it whatever. You know, any content in the game, it'll play fine. And this one's a Warlock one, which I don't normally play much Warlock, but this one is so good and so fun, it's even got me out here playing Warlock. So I thought I would show it to you all and show you how it works first and then show you how to build it. So you're going to notice here that what I'm doing is playing Prismatic Warlock with a kinetic weapon. So we're just going to go run through this thing real quick and show you how this thing works. So you can see making pretty short work of these guys. If the eagle-eyed viewer might actually see what we're doing here more closely. If you don't stress. I'll show you what we have going on here. But yeah, this one is a ton of fun. I found it to be very strong, which is always a good time, right? And really, I don't think we're going to be having any problems around here running through this thing. You can see we don't have much ammo for these guys, which is always tough, but they're still not a problem, right? So, coming through this way, taking care of those guys real quick, and then getting back to the group here. We're just going to throw that at that guy. You may not recognize what's going on here because what I'm using here is an exotic armor piece that's very unpopular. So, just one that you basically never see. And because of that, you might not actually recognize what's going on here. Or if you've used it before, you might. So, you can see though, I'm having a real easy time with everybody. We're going to get these guys like this. Came up just a little short of killing that guy, which sucks. But moving on through here. And oh, I forgot to touch the door. So this is the loop. The loop is essentially use an ability to get Devour. Use an ability to get a kill to get Devour. Generally what we want that to be is this little electric slide Warlock melee thing that I have on. And if you can get a kill with it, it'll get you Devour. It also, I forget what it's called. I call it electric slide, but you slide and then use your powered melee and you go into a little electric ball and then shock everybody. That one will give amplified when you use it. It hits really hard, so if you use it on a little group of red bars or whatever, you're probably going to kill them all with it. Get your Devour going, get amplified on, which is nice. And then what's happening here is we're killing guys. They're severing everybody, and because of our artifact, when we kill a severed enemy, that's giving us woven mail when we stand like where they were. Oh. So did I see an ammo thing here? Maybe not. Maybe I'm crazy. Okay, running through here. Oh, there's an ammo. I don't think I need that though. So a lot of times, what you're kind of missing with the Warlock is the durability. So there's a lot of Warlock builds, because Prismatic has Devour and Void has Devour. There's a lot of Warlock builds where you heal yourself a lot, and Solar, obviously you're healing yourself a lot too, but if you take a lot of damage real fast, you tend to be in trouble. I mentioned that in my Void builds video also, that the Warlock can get into a little bit of trouble, because when you take that real quick damage, you're not you're kind of like not ready for it, or taking all the damage and then healing it off isn't always kind of the best way to be durable. So you can get into some trouble with the Warlock on that kind of thing. What a throw. Because you can take the damage before you're ready to heal it back off, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to use our healing thing there. You'll notice that's the first time I've used my class ability. That's because in this build, it is just for that situation where I haven't killed anybody in a little bit, and it's kind of in a glass case waiting for the break in case of emergency type of thing. So when I haven't killed anybody for a little bit, I can use it to get that heal that I'm needing, because I haven't had Devour getting anything for me yet. So last couple guys here. And that's it. Blasted that thing pretty quick. The build is very powerful. It's really fun. It has an interesting interaction between the exotic weapon, or lots of weapons, and the exotic armor. It makes for a pretty great time. So let me switch over and show you guys how I built this one so you can go and play it too. Okay, so here we are looking at this Warlock build. This build is built all around this Chromatic Fire exotic armor. So this thing has this crystalline transistor trait. When you get final blows from kinetic weapons, they create an explosion in an element that matches your super. So if you have an arc super, it will blind guys that the explosion hits, scorch, weaken, and notably, if you have a strand super, it will sever targets, okay? When that explosion kills things, it'll stack up the buff and you'll get a bigger explosion, but if you get a precision kill, it will always give the biggest possible explosion. So obviously precision kills are good. We want to hit precision kills with kinetic weapons, but we're not required to. The way this exotic worked back in the day is that you were required to get precision kills or it just wouldn't do anything, and it made it quite a bit worse, okay? Now, when we have this thing, if we go over to Destiny Data Compendium here, we can look at this thing and see that it'll give an explosion and it'll put this stack of crystalline transistor on us for 11 seconds, up to a max of 2 stacks, and then it gives a bigger area on the bigger stacks, okay? And it'll sever for 6 seconds when we get somebody. The duration is less important than the fact that it severs, okay? So that's what we want. The whole thing is now we're going to use a kinetic weapon and we're going to sever targets so that we can, from here, sever is a buff that will reduce the damage that they do to us, which is really nice on the Warlock, which tends to take a lot of damage, okay? So, going over into our class choices, first thing, super has to be Needle Storm, okay? We need this one because that's what's going to make the explosion sever. As we go through this build, you'll see that that's very important to us. We want it to sever. Sever will reduce damage that targets do to anyone, not just us, but anyone that they shoot at. So anyone in our party, which is nice. It's also a strand debuff, so anything that kind of happens from strand debuffs will happen, like it'll make tangles when you kill them and things like that. So that's very important. We're using Devour, this Feed the Void aspect, to give Devour so that we can heal ourselves with it, okay? All we have to do is get an ability kill to activate Devour. And then this one is the thing I was calling Electric Slide. Lightning Surge, it makes it so you you start a slide and then hit your powered melee, and you'll dash forward and explode with electric energy. You'll kill guys, and you'll also make yourself amplified, which gives you another damage reduction and makes guys more likely to miss you when they shoot at you. And it jolts targets too. You'll get bolt charge off them, and anything else that procs off jolt, you'll get that. We're going to use Vortex Grenade because we want it to weaken targets. We're going to take this aspect, or this fragment down here that makes it weaken, so we want a Void Grenade. And we're using this Arcane Needle specifically because it has 3 charges. Okay, that gives us more charges to use our little electric slide attack. It also, because it's strand, you can just throw it and it often will kill a little red bar. And that can get your thing going where you get the ability kill for Devour, and you also get from our aspect a thing that will put out a thing that's going to give us Woven Mail. That's the big trick here. Jump of your choice, and then we have Healing Rift to basically just keep in a glass case and use in case of emergency. If we see that our health is starting to get low and there's nobody around to kill to make Devour heal us, we just drop this and stand in it for a second to get back to full health and then get back to killing people. Fragment wise, these 3 are the ones that you need to have. We want Facet of Dawn because Radiant is awesome. Radiant gives a great big damage buff to our weapons, so we want to get that every time we use the electric slide thing or the arcane needle thing. This one, the Facet of Grace, this is just going to make our kinetic weapons give us more transcendence energy, which is really helpful because basically everything in our build is light, and so the dark side transcendence energy doesn't populate very quickly. This will make it go much, much faster as we kill people with our kinetic weapon, which we're using almost all the time. And then Dominance, this one will make our Void Grenade weaken, and our Transcendence Grenade is also a Void Grenade, so it will also weaken targets. So all of our grenades will weaken, which is awesome. That's more damage that we can do there as well. These last 2 are your choice. This one, Facet of Protection, is really good because we are going to be trying to like slide in there for the big melee attack. So we will be around guys regularly, and this is kind of a run and gun build. It's not a stand in the back and plink build. So this one is really helpful when you're up there in their face. This one, honestly, I just have because it gives melee stat. It's not terrible. The collecting an elemental pickup or destroying a tangle grants transcendence energy of the same type. Like I was saying, most of our stuff in the build is light focused, so the dark side of the transcendence thing doesn't fill as fast. The kinetic weapon thing helps. This one helps because you'll get tangles because you're severing guys all the time. So you can blow up those tangles, get yourself some more dark transcendence energy so that you can be transcendent more often. You saw I popped it a few times in the thing that I just ran. Then going forward, the artifact. This is a really important thing. This is the other kind of thing we're building around. The reason that we wanted to use that chromatic fire chest piece was because it's going to sever guys, and this, to shreds, is an amazing artifact perk where when we deal sustained damage to severed targets, it unravels them. That's fine. It's nice, but we don't super care about that. But more importantly, defeating a severed target creates a hotspot of strand energy, granting woven mail to nearby allies for a short duration. The short duration is like 10 seconds, which is about as long as a buff is usually applied in this game. So it's really nice. And because we have all of our kinetic weapon kills severing in a small area around, every time there's groups of guys, we're just going to sever guys and we're going to kill them immediately with our kinetic exotic weapon. And we're going to have these little, they're a little light green like orb that's sitting there pulsing. That's going to be everywhere, and it's going to be giving us woven mail all the time. Okay, that damage reduction, that's what makes us so hard to kill. That's what allows us to just run in there and fight things instead of like kind of trying to stand in back, stand behind cover and plink. This is the what we're building around. So this one is super important. This one, stunning a champion grants max stacks of bolt charge. That's fine. It just gives us another extra damage against champions. After you stun them, you'll have bolt charge, so then you can hit them with a melee or something and nuke them with the bolt charge. Targets hit by your tangles are severed. Again, anything that severs is awesome because when we kill the severed target, that's how we're going to get woven mail. So we want everything around to be severed all the time because we just want to be able to, as we're running around, running through the orbs, just constantly be reapplying that woven mail buff. When you get maximum bolt charge, you're amplified. Doesn't really matter. I just had to pick something. That one's not super important. This one, also not super important. If a target is severed, and you kill them with arc damage, it releases a blinding burst. The rocket pulse that I was using is arc, so it does something, but not often. And then this one, defeating arc debuff targets grants bolt charge. That one is good because our electric slide thing jolts them, which is an arc debuff, right? And so we'll get bolt charge from that, and when we rapidly defeat arc debuff targets, it'll spawn an orb of power, which is awesome. We love getting an orb of power, get armor charge, etc. And it'll heal a little bit. That one you don't even notice because you have Devour, and so Devour is healing so much that you don't even notice that little heal. And then this last one, rapid final blows with a kinetic weapon, or a weapon matching your equipped super. Create an elemental pickup that matches your equipped super. And these elemental pickups grant matching super energy when they're collected. So this is Tangles. Because we have a Strand super, our exotic kinetic weapon, every time we kill things with it, we are going to get a Tangle. Or not every time. When we get rapid final blows, it'll proc the Tangle. Okay, so again, just Tangles all over the place, which make things severed. And when we kill severed things, we'll get Woven Mail. So, really nice kind of synergies on that. And they're basically playing around the Strand stuff. And because we have a little bit of arc in our kit, we have a couple little arc things in there. Okay. Next thing, the weapons. The most important thing is you need your kinetic weapon in this slot, okay? I've found Kvostov to be the best for this. This ricochet bullet is awesome. It just takes out groups of guys, and every time you kill somebody in there, they blow up and do the explosion damage and sever everybody around. It also has shoot to loot, which can be really nice for picking up orbs every once in a while. And when you pick up an orb, you get even more of these ricochet bullets. And these ricochet bullets actually also hit really, really hard. So this one I found to be like my kinetic weapon of choice. But also, honorable mentions, Thorn is amazing. Thorn is a kinetic weapon, and the poison that Thorn puts on counts as kinetic damage. So if you shoot a guy and the poison kills him, he explodes with the little severing explosion thing. It's super awesome. Thorn is basically just as good as Kvostov. It's awesome. Lumina, also really good. It's a kinetic weapon. When you kill guys with it, it's a real slick feeling weapon. It has really nice stats on it. But when you kill guys with it, you get the same explosions and things. And then, of course, you get the little ally rounds. And when you shoot them, you buff your ally and yourself with a 35% damage buff. So if you're in group content, Lumina could be a really nice choice for this build as well. And then if you want to use an exotic for something else, if you want to use an exotic heavy for a DPS phase or something like that, or you have an exotic special you'd like to use, you can use kinetic legendaries. The build still totally works with kinetic legendaries. I found Midnight Coup. I always have loved Midnight Coup. It's really good for this build. I used a legendary kinetic auto rifle with it. That was fine as well. But because you're shooting this kinetic weapon all the time, it is a really good spot to put your exotic. So Kvostov is really good. You could try Suros Regime. I haven't tried that one yet. That one might be good. Thorn is awesome. Lumina is awesome. And yeah, mine of choice is Kvostov. So try that one first is what I would suggest. And then these other two weapons, they're for champion killing and DPS. Do whatever you want, okay? I have one. Kvostov is a barrier, anti-barrier weapon. So I have one unstop weapon and one overload weapon. And they double as my champion stunners and my DPS weapons. So when I'm taking damage or taking health off a boss or whatever, that's what I'm using. Okay, last thing, armor and stats. Stat-wise, 200 weapon. This build is all about weapons, so we want 200 weapon, okay? I did super. The Needle Storm super does good damage, so I have super here next, and then melee, because we're going to use that electric slide thing all the time. This, because I had it before for something else, happens to be a gunner one that's weapon grenade super. But for the most part, probably items like this, Powerhouse. Powerhouse gear is going to be ideal for this because it's going to give us weapon first and super second. So Powerhouse gear is going to be your best. Powerhouse with melee is probably optimal. So I have a few pieces of Powerhouse with melee on. But a little bit of grenade isn't bad because Devour will help us regen our grenade, and it'll do that better if we have a little bit of grenade stat. And the grenade will weaken, which is always nice. So a little bit of grenade's not hurting anything. The class, we really don't need the class stat because that we're really just holding that healing rift in case of emergency. Okay, so you shouldn't be using it often enough to really care what your class stat is. And then in PvE, health doesn't matter. So main thing, weapon stat, super after that, melee after that. If you can, get melee and super, melee to 100, weapon to 200, and super as high as you can, given those two. Okay, last thing, the mods. Kinetic Siphon, obviously we're shooting our kinetic weapon the vast majority of the time. These two, I put ammo finders for those champion stun and DPS weapons because that's what I'm going to use for DPS. You can also, if you're in content where your super is going to be more useful, you can put super fonts in these and have your super just hit harder. Okay, I have done that as well. It also works. I like to put the weapon ammo things in here more because I'm going to use those more than the super. And if your super is above 100, it already comes back really fast. You're just adding damage to it, and it hits hard enough to use what I wanted to use it for. But if you were in like a raid or something like that, where you're going to have a DPS phase or a dungeon where the DPS phase is short or something, you might want to put the super fonts in here so that your super just does as much damage as possible as soon as that DPS phase starts. And then you see I have weapon stat in all of them because I'm trying to get the weapon stat to 200. I have a melee font in here just to push my melee stat up. I have heavy-handed to get an orb because the orbs are good for Kvostov and obviously to get my armor charge. And then I have impact induction. This one you could put all kinds of things in here. I put this in here to just keep the grenade coming back so I can use it to weaken guys. It's not super important. Resistance is in the chest, as always. You definitely want the kinetic weapon surges in your pants because you're shooting your kinetic weapon all the time. I have this thing so that I get melee stat or melee charge back when I step on an orb of power. That one's really good. You could have all kinds of things in this spot, whatever you want. But this one is nice for just getting that melee back up faster. And then time dilation, Reaper, powerful attraction down here. Time dilation, basically anytime we have surges in our pants, we have time dilation in our class item, right? So that's what we have there. The Reaper, I have it in there. We're basically barely ever using our class ability, so it doesn't really matter, but you don't really need anything else in there either. And then powerful attraction, same thing. So the biggest thing is just put a time dilation in here, okay? And then you are ready to go. At that point, you have the full build. This build is really fun, guys, and it is very strong. I have played it in all kinds of content, and it's actually good enough that it got me to play a decent amount of Warlock. So go out there and try it, enjoy it, tell me how it goes.